here we are. Alioune versus KenDeep. Millia versus Eno. Let's get it.
Versus KenDeep. It's gonna be Eno versus Millia. Let's take notes. This is your character too.
Of course, we need to watch this, and so we can level up our game, man.
Good. This is a good block burst here.
Take notes. This is your character.
Come in to think about it.
We need to watch this,
and it wasn't even just guarded. So this is what I mean about Millia having favorable set of scenarios already off rip, right? All right, sweep, disc, air dash over. He blocks it, and it wasn't even an instant blocked burst. This wasn't just guarded or nothing, and he gets a guaranteed punish. So this is what I mean about this character already being in pretty favorable positions. And then he gets the corner carry, and then it's party time, right?
Millia is punished. Alioune is there, and if you guys don't know what Alioune is about, no matter what game Alioune plays, Alioune's objective of playing a game is to play in single player mode. Yeah, he wants to knock you down and to mix you until you're done.
Yeah, he's that. He's the big brother that just doesn't let you play, you know? You're like, when is it my turn?
Good pressure.
Well, I mean, I haven't played Alioune in lots of games. It's like this. Like when Alioune gets it going, I'm like, can I play? I'm trying to play the game today, you know?
Right, yeah. I've played against this guy in many games in the past, man. It's always the same. It's always single player mode, man.
Now, KenDeep, unfortunately, hasn't really had so much of a chance to play, but looking to switch it up a little bit here.
Ooh,
good crossover.
He's looking good, and Alioune taking round number 1.
That's what I'm talking about, man. Millia, you want to have that that dash button equipped. You saw me when I went up there to chat with Theory. He was he realized that, you need to have that dash button for Millia. It's so easy. Here we go. Full combo time. Boom, boom, into the moon. No, just goes for the reset instead.
Ooh, right.
There's
lots of open.
Boom, into the moon. No, just goes for.
And these are the things I mentioned before about Millia's options, right? So the post situation here, like post hit, it was turbo fall, dash, close slash, one hit. Now, let's take a look at the options here for a second, right? Let's take a look at these options. Okay, so we're going to go back to the color coding, right? So we'll use this. So Eno's blocking. So we have each one of these things are going to represent each color. I'm going to put like a check mark here or like a mark here to let you know, and they're all going to be color coded to what each thing are, right? So this is Bad Moon, right? This is overhead. This is for Bad Moon. Okay. Now, and this is still on one hit, right? Because this move hits twice. So I'm going to put this here. 2 hit normal. Maybe black might not be the best color here. Let's readjust that. We're gonna erase this really quickly. We'll just use white because it's more visible, right? So this is the 2 hit normal. 2 hit normal, right? So because this is a 2 hit normal, the guessing game for each one of these options remains, right? So then we'll use yellow for jump into air dash. So this is going to be cross up on either hit, right? Either hit. Okay, this is going to be on either first hit or second hit. Okay, so Bad Moon also on either hit, right? So let's say this counts for a second hit, right? Right, and then we'll use another line here to count as either hit, right? What else do we have? So we have air dash, either hit, Bad Moon, either hit. He could also, even though this is going to be a slower mix-up, right, we'll use this blue for turbo fall to cross up, right? So turbo fall 1 hit, turbo fall 2 hit, okay? Because he still has to guess the side. It is always going to cross up, but still. What else do you have for mix-up? Bad Moon either hit, crossover, air dash on any hit. We can also look at So we'll use this for neutral jump. And we'll add a second line here for either hit. So this neutral jump into falling H, right? You also have, so we have an air dash. We have a neutral jump into a falling normal into an air dash. And I'll add this air dash. Okay. You have that. Like, dude, are you guys seeing the layers of the options? Okay. Now, we'll also add into here. I'll use this gray for, actually, we use orange for frame trap. Frame trap 2H. This also, so now you're seeing the flowchart now, right? Boom. So I'm gonna make this line distinction here, right? Make a line distinction. So every one of these options, they all stem from either hit, right? All these options stem from either hit. So I'm gonna draw a single line to, oh shoot. That was definitely not what we wanted. I definitely wanted the smaller line here. Okay, these all stem from either hit. Okay, all of these. They all stem from either hit, no matter what it is. Okay, I'm drawing these lines for the distinctions. Okay, like this all. I know this is kind of like sloppy, but hopefully this makes sense, right? And yeah, we haven't even considered the low yet, right? So let's add. So we got frame trap 2H, right? Then we'll add another one. We'll add a darker blue for we'll just say 214K equals low, right? Because that is your low option. Now there's no meter in play. So we don't have, we can't look at metering right now because there's no meter in play and the time on the clock is only 86 seconds. So there's no meter, there's no goal burst involved, whatever, right? So there's also command dash. So here, let me erase this since this is kind of like that. So I'm going to come here and grab this and we'll say, we'll just say hair car. Hair car equals low because that's our low option. It's not the safest, but it's a low option. There's also 2D. Let's come back here again. And I'll add like another arrow to this for 2D for your low option, right? So like you see what I'm saying, you guys? Are we understanding our options? Right? Are we seeing what's happening here? So we have 2D as a low, hair car as your low, frame trap 2H. I haven't even gotten to command dash, you know? And I'll add this in there. Hopefully, oh man. And then we have oh, this is gonna be kind of like yucky. I'm sorry, you guys. Command dash. We can add another option in here. You know what the option is? Do nothing. Sorry, it's kind of written kind of terrible. But you see all the options here? You see all the options? Oh yeah, can't forget, we have 2S. How did I forget 2S? How did I forget 2S? 2S is also low, right? 2S, also low option. Like, like, holy shit, dude. Like, can we grab? Yes. So the reason, where grab comes into play is on do nothing. But the thing about do nothing here is, this is only the first game. If you take into consideration information that has been happening in the matchup, yes, you can include throw in this as an option, right? So like you have all this shit here. So coming back to it, so you guys understand the color codes. So if you can see my my pointer here, this is the yellow is air dash, the green is neutral jump. Bad, and these are all, since there's 2 lines, this counts on either hit. That's why I drew arrows here. This is for either hit, right? So on either hit, first hit or second hit, Alioune opts to air dash and cross over H here on the first hit. But I'm also telling you that you have two hits here to work with, right? And from 2 hit, you can do neutral jump falling H into air dash if you like, and you have double air dash on either hit, right? So double, double overhead, air dash, crossover, air dash forward again. So we can even add, another line here for yellow, right? To go back after you land the hit. Like, you see how many ways you have to mix up your fucking opponent here? Look, guys, this is just the second round. This is just the second round. Right? Think command dash grab. Yes. So command dash does go into grab, right? That is absolutely correct. Again, I apologize for this being kind of messy. I'm doing this with my mouse. Command dash, and here we'll put an arrow here, right? And we'll put grab. Right? So there's your grab option, right? Right, coming from this. So these two are gonna work together. So that'll sneak in your grab. Do you input the dash as a hit confirm? You can if you want to. Right? But like, are you guys getting this? Like, I want you guys to understand, this is the type of stuff that works in my head. This is the flow chart from this normal. And look, guys, again, this is just round 2 of the first game of this set. And I'm showing you all the options that Millia has in this scenario to mix up the opponent. Now, I did mention that this is, I should have mentioned this is Turbo Fall. So I'll put TF right here in this corner. I should probably use a lighter blue, huh? We'll just use, I'm using the same blue. But, so TF will be Turbo Fall here. TF. So that's Turbo Fall. What is Turbo Fall? That's her command dash from the air to drop down. No. Now, I agree with Showbiz in the sense that Turbo Fall isn't good here, but Turbo Fall into throw is an option. It's a slower one, but we'll just do Turbo Fall and we'll just say throw or grab. Sorry, I'm running out of space here. I need to definitely grab my, sorry, I'm doing this really horribly, but yeah, I'm just doing my best to show you guys that, like, these are the options. Now Turbo Fall is slow here, but it's another option to sneak in the grab. But now, again, Turbo Fall throw, or Turbo Fall buttons would be a thing once the set has moved on and the player has been conditioned. So command dash into grab up here, that's conditioning. Turbo Fall into grab down here, that's conditioning. But you got to keep in mind that when I put these dashes here, these dashes signify the amount of hits that this move is, right? So again, coming back here, it's a 2-hit, come back to the center, 2-hit normal. On either hit, you can do any of these things here to mix up your opponent. Like, so everything, no matter how you look at this, right? I'm just going to do a quick, again, I know this is messy and I apologize for it. I need to get my actual, I'm gonna probably invest in a Wacom tablet to do this because I love this part of fucking fighting games. But I'm gonna do this right here, right? I'm gonna draw a quick box around this here. It's not the neatest, but you have to understand everything comes back full circle here. Everything starts here, right? And I'm putting these dots around this thing so you guys can understand. All these options start here. It starts here. This is the move, and it starts here. On either hit from this 2-hit normal, you get all of these options. Everything. Okay? So when you think about all this here, it's like, how are you already put in a guessing game when the character makes you block? Now, this all works from 5K as well, but you have to press the button multiple times. So you have manual control over the same type of thing. Now, you're only going to be guaranteed maybe 3 or so before you get pushed out, or they FD you, right? And FD comes into play here as well. So this is probably another reason why he opted to go for a single hit into air dash over. But know that, again, single hit, air dash over, right? So if we were to play this, right? So now let's play it, right? Okay, so now the air dash is hit, right? So now guess what? Now let's come back to the options, right? So either hit, right? From the top, either hit, air dash, crossover. Now he still has access to his air dash again. He can cross over again. And guess what happens when he crossovers again? He's closer to him. So guess what happens? You come right back, right? You're going to come right back. So if he was to cross back over, he jumped, he air dashed, he box jumped this way, come here, he landed the hit, air dash back this way, crossover again, and he gets the hit close slash again. And guess what, friends? Guess where we're back at again? Guess where we're back at again? We're right back to this, we're back here at the centerpiece. And yeah, 5D, we can add 5D as an overhead option, right? So we can say 5D is the orange here. We'll just add 5D. Thank you for reminding me. And we'll just add 5D. I'll put this OH. Sorry, it's kind of messy. Ugh. Let me find a better color for that. We could just use white or this light gray. And we'll use a thicker thing here. And we'll just say 5D for overhead option. Why would you backdash? When you say, what about backdash? As in, like, to bait? In what scenario? When am I going to see you teaching at that RedBull Kumite TV? Well, you need to ask Red Bull. For me, like, the thing is, you got to ask yourself, what do you want? You want me to be there as a player, or you want me to be there as a commentator? Because I'm down to do both, but if I had to pick, I kind of want to be a player on that one. No, yeah, of course. But, like, okay, so Spectrum, just for context, just given this situation alone right here, right? There isn't much to bait in this scenario. Like, so the point here is Millia makes you block close slash. You have to deal with all these options from that 2-hit normal, and you don't know which hit it's coming from. First hit or second hit, and that's just on block. Now, if she combos it in, then she still has access to all these same options right back again. Now, Ino doesn't have any bar here, so there's nothing to bait. She doesn't have a good reversal without meter. Since provide all these options, Millia, show us what the options Ino has for the situation. Yeah, sure. I got you. I'm gonna show the Eno side of things. I just had to do this breakdown because I feel like this is the things that aren't being looked at. Like, it's just people aren't looking at these options. So I want people, when they watch this, they learn, like, oh snap, she could do all that, like, from just making someone block, and this can be done on hit. Now, I agree with Spectrum in the sense that we can use the backdash to bait something if we need to. But we made them, but like the point here is we've established our turn from the knockdown, from the turbo fall, from our air conversion. We got a close meaty because we know Eno doesn't have good reversal options without meter. So we can now take advantage of Eno in this situation. Now, these are all our options that stem from either hit, coming back to again, from either hit, right? So everything comes from this either hit scenario. We can do any of these things to offset the opponent, to make them scared. So the next time we approach with this normal, they're already preemptively putting it in their mind that they're going to do something about it, whether it's block, meter option, etc. And luckily in this scenario down here, there's no meter at the bottom of the screens, guys. There's no meter down here. There's nothing to work with on the defensive side for KenDeep. He has to be good at blocking, or he maybe has to challenge with a 5P or a 2P to get away from the situation. Additionally, he can opt to backdash as well, or maybe even jump, right? So, moving back to it, I can go on for days about all these options and when meter comes into play, but please understand that this right here is like the meat and potatoes of this character, right? Like, once you've established a hit on let me rephrase that, not even a hit, once you've established contact, with just this normal alone, now all her options to mix you up are available. When you have meter, you can take an unsafe option, make it safe, and put them back in the same scenario for another chance to like make them guess incorrectly or crack their defense open. Okay? So essentially L2P. or L2B in this case, or learn to block, you know. But the thing is, there's so much to look for. Now, the do nothing portion, this comes into play once you've established all of these. Once all these things have been established, then this comes into play. So, from an Ino standpoint, if she mashes, she eats. So let me give you cause and effect. Cause, we started here. We know Ino likes to mash. The frame trap comes out, and we get 200 damage and wall break and positive bonus. Right? So we know that's going to be a thing. We know now that Ino's going to block. Command dash, grab. Turbo fall, grab. Turbo fall, button. Command dash, close slash again to steal your turn again, because now they're afraid of the grab. So maybe they might preemptively. So now let's look at it again, right? So you've got close slash, command dash, grab, right? Now we come back to this scenario again, right? We're back here again at some point. And now that they've gotten conditioned, now we go back to frame trap, right? Or we TK Bad Moon. Or, you know what I'm saying, we could do slash disc and then meter comes into play, right? Okay. Now, once we've trained them to not deal with any of these, they're like, I don't want any parts of it. I'll fine, right? Now you can do single hit into 2H, because now they think that they're going to get frame trapped, and you have more extended blocks done from the 2H into the command grab, and then they do a delayed reaction, and we're back into close slash as a frame trap. They get hit, you know, or like a delayed human reaction, and they get hit, because no one is a robot in this scenario on defense. It is a human reaction to try to get there in time to stop the scenario from happening again. You know, who wants to get abused over and over again in this case, right? So all those things come into play. Now, of course, Ino can backdash. So let's talk about Ino's options here. Okay. So I went ham on Millia, right? We understand this. We're good. Can I get a quick vibe check? Are we good on this? Do we understand these options? Can I get some emotes in the chat real fast so I understand? So that we're good here. Are we good? Are we good, stream chat? We good? Okay. Bet. That's what I like to see. Thank you. Okay. So, on the VODs, this will make more sense. All right, so I'm going to dead this, and we're going to talk about Ino's options from this case. So, in this case, since what ended up happening was the air dash, right? One of the options that could have been done was to try to check the jump with a jab. So, essentially, Ino could have probably done maybe 5P. Oh, man, this is kind of yuck here. Let's use this blue here. Come back. So, alternatively, Ino could have probably used 5P to check. We'll keep this as a check. You could have checked the jump, right? You could, I'll just put BD for backdash. But just for this scenario alone, she would have got hit anyway. So just in the instance that these are your options, right? So you could 5P, you can backdash. Without meter, you don't really have too many good options. Now, alternatively, he could have instant blocked maybe the second hit, but the second hit never came out. So that's kind of another mind game there. So that never presented itself. Maybe air throw? Air grab? Question mark? Sorry, my doing this with the mouse is really bad. I keep saying it. I keep apologizing for a stream, but this is the best I can do right now before I use my tablet. I have to go find it. But yeah, you have air grab, 5P, backdash, air grab, question mark to try to maybe react to the jump, but that's too fast. You could challenge, so I'll just put air, here, I'm gonna erase this some more. So you could, 5P for the check, air grab, question mark, air, whoops, air to air, question mark, because we're not sure if we can air to air, right? BD for backdash. But this is kind of risky. because backdash is gonna while backdash might beat Bad Moon, it's gonna lose to all the other options. Like, because it has to come out like frame 1, and you can mask the back, the dash button for backdash and get like a just frame backdash, but all that backdash could get frame trapped. Essentially, is why like backdash could get punished on the strength of a commitment. So your options are kind of limited here without any meter, unfortunately. Like, this is the part that sucks. Right? 6P. Now, yes, that's another option. 6P could work in this scenario because the old OS, I should say 6P FDOS. So that could be a thing. 6P into FDOS. Which happens is, like, if you FD, the punch is the weakest priority button in the game. So on the crossover, if you do it just right, Ino should turn around in 6P, or if things stay straight, then she'll just FD. But that's going to cause her to stand up, right? So this already in itself, while this is the great and this is really good in Xrd too, right? And older Guilty Gears, but especially in Xrd with crossover air dash and stuff like that. But this OS will lose to the low commitments. So this is going to lose to, I'll just put maybe loses to lows? Loses to lows. So this loses to lows because she has to stand up to 6 POS. She can't crouch and do it. She'll just whiff a 2P. She has to stand up. I think 5P check is better than the 2P check because the 5P check has the potential to turn around, right? If you 2P check, the 2P is not hitting anything. So Millia's air dash mix-up that Alioune did, it's guaranteed at that point. So 6P OS is probably the better choice on the strength of the commitment, or rather on the strength of believing an air dash is coming, right? Because you can kind of delay it. But it's tricky. It's tricky. It's not impossible. It's tricky. But again, it's gonna. So at this point, it's gonna lose to the lows. Now it won't lose to the frame traps. It won't actually lose to the command dash throw. Now let's talk about actually what this beats. This 6P FDOS, right? This beats Bad Moon. So that's the one good thing about it. This does beat Bad Moon. So I'll throw in here in red. Beats Bad Moon. Because you have to stand up. That OS is universal. It works in all the Guilty Gear games. Because P has the lowest priority.
Never forget about that.
Right? Because between P and K, if you were to do that, because 6P is a command normal, it's going to take priority over the FD. And since they're crossing you over, you're out of block stun. So that was going to, like, the 6P will take over. Does that make sense? Curious how the situation evolves in the course of the set. Oh yeah. Oh, you'll see it. You'll see it. You'll see it. I don't want to spoil it, but again, I love doing this, you guys. This is how I learn. And I think about all these options and what characters have to do on offense and defense, and it makes more sense on how to make better judgment calls. So, yeah. I'll give you an example of how this works. In Xrd against Chip, if he's doing predictable aerial teleports, you can actually do a delayed FDOS. So if he teleports in front of you, you'll FD. If he teleports in the air behind you, your character should 6P it. Just on the strength of him crossing you up. So I think probably some of your best options in this scenario is 6POS and 5P check. Because I think in this scenario, you can potentially stop the jump preemptively, and maybe you'll hit her out of it. And the 5P is a low committal move, so that you might be able to cross over your block if you whiff the 5P. Best case scenario. Because he's not doing a jump normal and falling on you. You're trying to catch the air dash. Now if we look at it in real time, you see what I'm saying? Right here, the 5P check would have been okay. But you have to already be standing. That's the thing. You have to commit to the low block, and then you have to either come out swinging and maybe check him or not. Alternatively, here you can actually use stroke the big tree as a reversal option, but your inputs could get crossed up because right now KenDeep is still facing the same direction, so there is a little bit of a buffer window there for it. It's just, do you really want to use it there? You know, you can stroke the big tree to get out though. You can. That is an option. I should put a stroke on here as well. So put stroke T BT. So you do have stroke the big tree to try to escape, but it has to be on time. On time. Okay, if it's not on time, you won't get the input. Now you can use those as your options. Just know that this is what you can do. This isn't 100%. Like this isn't always gonna get your way. But again, if you have meter, the situation changes. Okay. But yeah, stroke will just get you out. Stroke's just gonna get you out of the situation 100%. But it has to be on time. You know, players have been using stroke the big tree to get out of situations like these all the time. So this isn't anything new. So it's a good way to escape. Since air dashes do have the startup, it's not unseeable, if you will, but like it's kind of like a preemptive way to escape. So it is an option. So these aren't too bad of your escape options from the situation. Now, this doesn't mean Millia is guaranteed all those options. It's just these are all guesses. These are all ways to offset the opponent. So I'm sorry, I know this took a little while, you guys, but I think this is pretty much what you got. We can explore more, but we really got to get into the meat and potatoes of the video. We haven't even gotten that far into it. So let's continue, because we got mad videos to look at tonight, man. We're not even done yet, y'all. So let's take a look at what else is happening here. But I wanted you guys to see what's going on here with Millia. Hey! I just want to point out real quick that the same things that I mentioned to you guys happened immediately. It was the immediate thing that happened. So remember the options we talked about? There's a crossover. There's the block. What did I say? What did I say? Told you guys. Now, I feel like probably the hardest part here is that Alioune, he got his turn, he got his hit, right? Good, he got good damage, but Millia has to recover. He's already near, KenDeep, and I think here's the part where you have to utilize your speed as a means to test people. Here, he should have FD stopped, but then opts to jump and maybe do something. Maybe it was another bad moon, I'm not sure. But it says counter hit, so he did something. Could have been a jump button, could have been a special move. Hard to say what it was in particular. But on the strength of the slowdown. But he got hit, counter hit, and right here would have been a great point to use FD stop movement to not get hit here. And now KenDeep turns the situation around, and now it's his turn.
Yeah, Millia, man, double air dash. She can get out of the corner fairly easily, so you need to be careful.
Good air throw break.
Empty the purple RedBull to try and go and surprise. Alioune didn't work just yet. Good back dash there to get away from Millia's attempted pressure.
Again, you see how often that situation with close slash comes into play?
Not feeling the pressure.
He did it again. But like, this is what I'm saying. You have to think about these situations so quickly. Like, I showed you guys what it looks like in slow motion. Now you see it in fast motion. It's like, holy shit, you have to guess that. And look, he gets to confirm. Gets bursted, but still, he had an opportunity to bait there too. So, this is why I said, like, bad moon, right? Now, he RCs here. He could have easily baited this burst. In my honest opinion, I would have baited it. Knowing that I was already up, and this is, like, potentially for game. Because of the wall scenario, right? So if we look at what's happening here, Like, Alioune's already next to the wall. The combo is gonna kill, most likely. Might as well try to bait the burst and solidify the round. Kind of ran in and I guess he got crossed up. Maybe he tried to block it. Hard to say. But he got crossed up and got hit because he had positional advantage. I'm pretty sure the combo would have killed.
Into the Roman cancel. Oh, the burst right there though. KenDeep
but here we are.
Feeling the pressure from Alioune.
Yeah, it's Alioune trying to get away. That's in the corner right now, and that's where excels. Gets the throw as well. No RC on this. We're getting blue RC.
KenDeep, no burst bait either.
Respect. It goes low. That's what I was talking about.
He could have killed this. Blocks.
FD.
Blocks. There we go. Great defense by Alioune.
And really quickly, the new addition to the bounce from Eno's dives, this makes that move so much more viable now. I think that was one of the greatest additions to this character, as it lets her kind of keep playing the game.
Great defense by Alioune.
In front with the disc, beautiful stuff. So that is one of the changes they made in this patch. They did make the disc a bit more legit. You know, before you could just jump
5K.
out of a 2D into a disc, but now they made it a bit quicker startup. It's a bit more legit now.
I don't think it matters that bounce is negative.
The game. It's one round each opens with the counter.
It's just she has it.
Trying to anti-air, but not doing it
that move,
in
man.
time.
That move is so annoying.
The big tree.
The big tree. So annoying, bro.
That is because the heavy slash one is plus on block. So if you block this one, it's still Eno's turn. That's kind of thing we're trying to do. And look at this. The pressure is there. KenDeep unable to get the anti-air. Anti-jumpy.
No, he got it.
Tiger knee extension.
Beautiful.
Into the super. You're dead.
Dead.
For sure. That's going to do it right there. Alioune, boom, sent off into the distance.
Game!
Game goes to KenDeep.
Nice.
So KenDeep in this last portion, he pretty much just took advantage right here, right? He got the mix,
No, he got it.
Tiger knee extension.
and then that's it.
For sure. That's going to do it right there. Alioune, boom, sent off into the distance. First game goes to KenDeep.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is,
Like we said earlier, man, no
it's a mix-up because she can either let it rock, she can RC, or she can bounce. You still have to guess. If it was plus, it'd be Stilly.
For the people who know, that has got
Hey, it's a knockdown.
That has got to be a City Hunter reference. That guy behind with the umbrella and his like suitcase has exactly the City Hunter, like outfit. We don't see his face, but that has to be Brio Saiba, also known as Nicky Larson in French. That's his name.
Yeah, I was going to say. So he's here to support Alioune, man.
There's the hit.
Into the super.
Super, yep.
Good damage right there.
And let me talk about that decision really quickly. This super decision made perfect sense because Alioune here has full stick of butter down here at the bottom. This right here makes perfect sense because he's got the bar. So it makes sense to just take that. Okay? Makes perfect sense. Take the damage, get the positive bonus for the next set of 50 bars you're going to get. Stay meter positive.
Here we go. Into the super, that's going to be some good damage right there. Going to get that knockdown, dash up on him. Oh, he missed his meaty right there, unfortunate. And Alioune, you're going to be seeing...
Remember, when you super against the wall, you get hard knockdown.
Nice, you get the corner as well.
So you get a meaty.
Straight to the yellow one console. That was smart.
Purple for the mix. Oh no.
Oh boy, here we go.
Into a bit more. Watch out.
Oh, nice defensive throw.
Can't get more from this. Watch out. You got two blocks.
Nope.
The throw is there. KenDeep gets the round.
That's unfortunate right
KenDeep.
there. Alioune went for the same thing.
KenDeep.
I think he mistimed it perhaps.
The reversal throw, man.
Have his throw. Happens.
Yeah, happens. That's something you will see a lot. And dashing and throw from Alioune to set the mix up. Oh, the tech that transforms into a throw.
Right now at this stage, like the reason why Alioune's getting thrown is because his pressure isn't tight enough.
Yeah, that's the forward dash. You do forward dash empty into low, into 2K. So
Like as of right now, his current pressure is not as tight.
Watch out, the opening is there. He did not convert on the
Yeah, not trying to do any of that.
And
Don't blame him.
Waiting, keeping his senses, trying to get in the blue RC into the combo.
Full combo right there. So
Oh, he's dead.
He was talking about a double blue RC combo. that was crazy.
Okay, KenDeep Sensei, I'm taking notes. Like, you know that
KenDeep, man. Like as an Eno player, he's playing it mad good. I feel like this is probably the best display of Eno I've seen. Like at the moment. Like according to this exhibition. Now while her air dashes are a little bit slower.
There we go.
Ooh.
Trying to get that knockdown. You're going to be seeing that as much as you can from Alioune. It's going to be jump HS.
Like it's okay.
He's going to try and go for that kick into 2D.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Ooh, let's go.
Oh my god. into 2D.
Spicy. I love it. So let's unpack this right quick. Jump dust. I'm assuming into air dash, drift, into the blue RC, into JP instant overhead, jump slash, air dash again, jump H. That is so freaking sick, dude. Oh, it's so dirty. I think even if he was to block that, he would still have to deal with all those overheads. That's pretty sick, man. Fuzzy, fuzzy, wuzzy. Yeah, it is definitely a true fuzzy for the most part, it seems. Because the slowdown from the RC definitely makes it harder to block things. You know, so this is really good. You know, no one... I think this is going to be one of our prominent mix-ups, is to get fuzzy guards off of situations like this. So for those of you who are new and don't know what fuzzy guards are, essentially it's when you block something, you know, your transition guard frames get hit. So like, despite your character looking like they're standing up, in a lot of times in a lot of fighting games, but in this case Guilty Gear, like your character tends to stay in the standing animation for maybe like 1 or 2-ish frames. And despite what it looks like, and you may have crouched, and I crouched it. It's like, well, the game fortunately forces you to stay standing. Like basically, your character, despite them crouching, and they're not crouching per se. It's so hard to explain this, but basically, visually your character is standing, and it takes 2 or so frames to get into the crouch state. But your character's hitbox is still in standing state essentially, so they get hit. Despite you crouching, or maybe you crouch late and you're like, oh man, I blocked it. Nah, it's just the move just hit you kind of late. So it just, fuzzies are really terrible to deal with in a lot of cases, basically, and you don't want to have to deal with those. And Ino's looking like she's gonna have a lot of those. A lot of other characters might actually have these fuzzy guards as well. I have seen some stuff on Twitter from this past beta that had some pretty cool fuzzy stuff. So, and it only mostly comes when you have the meter for the blue RC to kind of force these situations. So.
Oh, wow.
Woo, let's go.
Oh my goodness.
Yo, KenDeep is bringing the tech out there. Alioune trying to go for the low. There we go, another one. One touch. The mix is properly blocked. Jeez.
Oh my goodness, the pressure right now. Alioune Sensei.
Come on, man.
So Mike is bringing the tech out there. Alioune trying to go for the low. There we go, another one. One touch. The mix is properly blocked. Jeez.
Oh my goodness, the pressure right now. Alioune Sensei.
So my guy has been... My gun has been blocking for the last like 15 seconds.
Like,
so my guy has been...
And then you just have the straight up run up bad moon, because I think you're gonna crouch, and it wasn't gonna matter because Alioune still had 50 meter down here. He still had 50 meter down here to work with, regardless, even if he was wrong on that guess. So.
My gun has been blocking for the last like 15 seconds. Alioune is...
They did my boy Chip bad.
Alioune's like, hey, you remember who I am?
Chip's fine.
You're fighting the sensei right
Anyone
now.
who thinks that Chip's bad doesn't know how to play Chip.
Okay, KenDeep right now trying to get that
The
pressure.
end.
Man, both these
Not much to say on that.
movement options.
That's just my opinion.
Goes for the overhead.
Like,
oh, he missed his 2K, I think.
I would agree with people if I didn't play him for as long as I have.
Right there.
And gets the opening straight to the burst.
Yeah.
KenDeep looking to get something back. Oh, the note is there, the conversion in the air is there, and KenDeep trying to get for some pressure. Watch out, note is there, is that a high-low? That's gonna be the yellow cancel small.
Now, I feel like this is a common thing. Like, I had a set with Mad Jacket, which I still need to upload, but I felt like this was really hard to escape. And I think without the mission mode, it's gonna be harder but I'm gonna figure that out whenever we see the mission mode and see how her knockdown situation is handled. But I think they did kind of show that in the tutorial thing or the showcase. But regardless, the situation is very difficult to deal with, I feel, and I think that using yellow RC or the guard cancel as a means to escape the situation is pretty good as a basic escape mechanism, because the note is very the note can definitely obstruct the view, and it's like you don't want to have to deal with it. So using the yellow RC once she gets near you is going to be pretty prominent, I feel. So defending against her may cost meter to escape certain situations such as this. There might be other options and other answers for this scenario. Just have to wait for full release to check this stuff out. But there you have it, you know. So it's hard to say, man, what she's gonna do. It's just like, Chip and Millia, all these characters in particular, they all have different ways to mix you up. And Ino's, she has a hover dash, so she's hover dashing at you. She could hover dash empty low. She can hover dash, you know, overhead, hover dash double overhead. And as you can see, you know, with KenDeep, you have hover dash, you know, triple fuzzy. Like, it's just, there's a lot to take in. It's a lot to take in having to deal with her stuff, you know, so I think this is one of the better ways to escape the situation, especially down here. KenDeep is loaded right now, you know. KenDeep is loaded right now. He can do that fuzzy. He could have got that fuzzy set up off of that situation. Like, he's set up. Like, he is ready to go. Like, he is locked and loaded, friends. He is locked and loaded. So, gotta be careful, man. So this was I think this was a good defensive call for Alioune. And even me, I think, in general, I think if you have 50 bar against her, I think it's very important to just spend it. And just don't let her get into that situation, because even though that her damage isn't the highest from the mix, it's the fact that you're looped in that situation again. She's like one of the characters that can truly loop her Oki. And, yeah, you just don't want to be there. It's bad news bears, man.
That's gonna be the yellow cancel smart one from Alioune, trying to get that Ino away.
No. But you're pushed all the way back. There's no punish. Yep. Oh my goodness, here we go. Gets the combo again. KenDeep, beautiful stuff.
Man.
Break, and that's a dead character right there.
Yeah, hover JP is
Millia
definitely an issue.
That's the 1 round each. Here we go.
And I'm glad to see KenDeep, you know, taking advantage of all that. Oh, here we go. Set it and forget it.
Down kick, down dust, so 2 KD.
Unfortunately, misses confirmed. Good throw on defense from Alioune to try to force a corner. KenDeep back again with his throw.
Not the best at mid-screen conversions, but as long as she gets the down kick,
okay, so
into a mix, and
at this point, Alioune had 50 bar. He has like well over 50 bar, rather. He's got 100 meter. I honestly think he actually got a hit here and opted to go into 2K 2D or 5K 2D and get a knockdown into disc. I really think he should have used his meter to side swap and take wall and maybe wall break or try to take corner instead of trying to get this knockdown from, because if you think about it, he only has so much bar, right? And so he has enough meter to make a confirm happen. So it's turning something into nothing. You already confirmed the jump hit. You got the hit. Take the sweep, drift RC, corner to corner, either wall break or try to keep them close to the ground, whatever, so he can set up mix up again. And then he has another 50 to do something else with. So I think that this was kind of a missed opportunity, unfortunately, for meter usage, sadly. And yeah, KenDeep's blocking has been really good, by the way.
As long as she gets the down kick, she gets that conversion into a mix, and that's when she gets carried.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Alioune right now goes straight into the super. Dashes up, sets the disc. Oh,
this is another decision I don't really agree with either.
Not the best at mid-screen conversions, but
and
as long as
it is because
she gets that conversion into a mix, and that's when she gets carried.
Yeah, okay, here we go. Alioune right now.
I think he could have went into a hair car, RC, take him to the corner, and did something a little bit stronger. Maybe the juggle gravity might have come into play, but I would have done whatever it takes to corner KenDeep. I think this is a good scenario in the sense that you do get like a good disc setup per se, but
dashes up, sets the disc. Oh,
I just think that I would have rather taken the RC combo.
He's right, the empty jump. So this, for those of you who don't know, that's a command grab, guys, right? So if you have not jumped before the flash, you get caught.
But I mean, he spends the meter wisely here, so I agree with this. That's a good use.
Like empty jump, and you go for the command grab, and yeah, you scoop some people up. You know, that's what you try to do. Unfortunately for KenDeep, I'm gonna make this one work. Let's go.
Let's get back in.
We'll get some Potemkin later, by the way.
Yeah, it's definitely hard to time disc after super, but I'm sure when the game fully comes out, there'll be frame kills for it.
Position or miss the grab right there, sets up the fireball. Both these characters have a similar game plan. They just get that sweep into the pressure after, and then it's just boom, have fun. Guess. Look at the damage, and Millia with that low life, man. Oh no, no.
KenDeep.
There is something quite interesting
that
about
perfect.
the fact that her dash like goes
nothing to say, man. Lots of snowballing on that behalf.
Sometimes it will just go over a down K and just get the throw. So you make the low button whip into a throw. It's quite scary to deal with.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, we go. Of course, Millia, one of the characters that right now, all of the Millia players aren't really feeling that right now. She doesn't look that strong this version. I feel like she might have been stronger before.
Yeah, Alioune is actually one of the players who was
ooh, good defensive throw.
Millia anymore after this,
so
this one. Like
nice.
overhead
well,
damage.
the conversion is there. Trying to get as much as he can.
I feel like he could have did more there. I don't think that's all he could have done. I want to say there's more he could have done there for confirm.
Yeah, same there from Alioune, backs off.
But I don't agree with giving up the space here for
right now looking like
this here that happens. I don't like this. I don't like this return to neutral. I think this is too much space between these two. With how slow her hover dash is and her air dash as a whole, like these, like, so hover dash is this angle, her air dash is this angle. This is already covered. I understand that with Millia's speed, she can cover that range and cover both options. But I think standing at least here underneath like the timer is better than being, I think this is a bad position. This is a good position for the enemy. This is a bad position because you're giving up real estate. You worked hard to keep them here. This super can be a problem. And he's got even more meter for that matter. I think he could have forced the issue and maybe have baited him and stayed, you know, I just don't see a reason to not at least stay here. At the very least, at the center line of the screen. Because all these options are available to you, so you can 6P. Here, I'm gonna use a different color actually. Right? And we'll use this horizontal line. And like, let's look at the options. So 6P is gonna beat both of these. So both of these approaches are already crushed by 6P. And maybe 2H. We'll put 2H question mark, right? Because it might be a situational thing, right? So not too bad, but we know 6P will crush both of these on reaction. And we might even sneak in 5P as well, because it's mashable, right? So good, and situational. So we'll put double underscore for situation. So you have good options here. So I don't think that there's a reason to give up this space. Because we know from here, all these options are good. Because 6P in itself, sorry, it's going to get messy, but 6P from Millia, if Millia's standing here, so I'm going to use this as a standing point for Millia, this yellow, 6P is going to hit right here. If Millia's standing roughly here, with the way her sprite is, her 6P hits out here. So all those options are covered already. You've already covered the dashes. So super is a no, right? Grab super is a no. So this could be super 1, super 2.
What's up, fam?
Both of these will not work.
Never forget about that, because that's all we got.
Appreciate the follow. So super 1, no. Super 2. So super 1 being the DP, we'll just put DP. No. That won't work. And super 2 is grab. These are both no's because you're not in range. So there's no reason to be there's no reason for you not to threaten this range by standing here. So friends, if you play Millia or any character in the game, if you're fighting Ino, understand that these are her options. These are her dash options. You standing out here, so let's say you're standing here. It'll be harder, it'll be a little bit harder to react. Even though they're slow, you're going to be thinking too hard about these two. Right? You don't want to worry about, you don't want to think about these two options too much at that range. Standing at least here, so you could stand here. Sorry, this is getting a little messy, but I'm going to dead this, right? So I'm going to come back here. So standing, I'm going to use this line. This is good. And if we know that this is where she's going to hit, this is where she's going to go. And even just a little bit further up. These are okay. These are okay spots to be. This is just this position, unfortunately, for where Alioune is, and I understand what he's doing. He's trying to give up the space to let KenDeep kill himself because he's got the life lead, so he has the mobility, so he can play. He can play off the screen, aka he can play off the screen real estate. But like, this is not a character you want to play the screen with entirely. If you have the advantage, you can press the advantage. I'm just saying that, like, while this is kind of okay, I just don't agree with spending an air dash to come back here when she's way over here. None of her options are going to reach. And if we... I'm going to dead this real fast. And if we look at where...
Blocked for quite a while.
Now look at that. He super jumped and air dashed. Now, I should have put that into the equation as well. I looked at the other air dashes, but in general, like, that's still, it's just, instead of it being, you know, this to this, we got to add this into this. So it's another angle. But no matter what, that angle is still going to be covered being here. That's just the bottom line. That angle is going to be covered being at that spot. I think the only other character that could play at that same range in which Alioune was at would be Axel. Or even Faust. Just on the strength of them having buttons that can cover those ranges without having to actually be there. So, let's continue.
And Alioune gets some space back.
Yeah, safe pressure there from Alioune. Backs off, giving Kenny some space, like you said. You know, one right now looking like one of the stronger characters in the game, actually. I feel like, you know, the set play is ridiculous. A lot of people feeling like she's quite strong. Okay,
Yeah,
there we go.
burst. I respect the burst.
Out of there. Oh, you slide? You wanted to slide into the
I think
DMs?
you're one-on-one with your boy. You already know.
He saw the slide like hell.
Yeah, he no, not like this. Not like this.
Oh, how could I forget? Stroke the big tree could have been also another option, but you're too far away. You can stop that option.
Okay. So Alioune keeping it safe. So Millia can actually do a second air dash after that the jump HS.
Thanks for reminding me about Stroke the Big Tree. I'm going to take a quick moment to just run that scenario back just really briefly. Just really briefly.
Trying to get as much as he can. Watch out,
Okay.
double dash into the schmicks. Ino is still blocking.
Just real quick. Okay. So let's look at that scenario again. I apologize. I'm glad you reminded me about Stroke the Big Tree. So I think so this is S stroke, and I think this is H stroke. Either way it goes, it's still going to stop outside the range you want it to be. On top of hover dash here, jump, hover dash there, super jump, hover dash here. So the only real hard angle to cover would be like this one. That's the harder one to cover. But you can jump, you can see her leave the ground and preemptively put stuff in her way. So that one isn't, this one is going to require a little bit more finesse to stop, but you know, S, T, B, T. And then knowing how far she goes with this too, you can kind of play around those. I feel like they don't really go that much further. So I'm glad you reminded me about Stroke the Big Tree. That was another option I should have mentioned. But yeah, let's push forward. This is still just game 2, man. Holy shit.
Plays dash. Okay.
All right.
Anyone can do it. It's the sensei. No, not like this.
So let's get to
not
this
like
one.
this. Man, KenDeep.
Yeah, these are going on YouTube.
Anyone can do it. It's the sensei. Never doubt the sensei. Okay.
We might save some more for tomorrow, barring how things go.
Safe. So Millia can actually do a second air dash after that the jump HS, but it's actually risky that you can get jabbed out of it. So she's not going for that one too often. Ooh, misses the follow-up. That's a shame. Cancels into the slash version of disc, just to keep it safe. You know, you don't have to always commit to the heavy version.
Yeah, so now Alioune's trying to commit to staying in the air a little bit to discourage the movement, since he understands that the movement's kind of slow on her side.
Oh, yeah, that's not
Okay, that's good. Good damage.
Yeah, no.
Of course, that gut scaling does kick in. Oh my goodness, neutral drop HS.
Good stuff.
Goodbye.
That was a good round from
Solid
Alioune.
one for Alioune. He really needs to get
Very good round.
into this set right now. KenDeep was in control. Alioune waiting full screen, looking for something. The opening goes for KenDeep.
Okay, you just got to move around, man. You got to avoid those fireballs. Okay, max off. There we go, max range now. Oh wow!
Finally hit him low. KenDeep opting the burst. Don't want to deal with it.
Expecting a cross up.
You know, that's the thing about Millia players. They want the air dash. Sometimes they can get greedy in the sense of wanting the big boy, because the overhead will give you the most damage. The low will give you only so much damage. But like, if you really want
You need to approach, man. You can't just be oh my goodness, did you see the FD attempt?
Yeah, so a lot of times they choose to go for the overhead options because it's the beefier damage, when the lows are just as important. And there was a statement that was said here.
Guilty Gear is not a game made for you to back out and block. If you want blocks, go play Tetris.
Yeah.
That statement about blocking in Guilty Gear is absolute bullshit. Do not listen. I love Tyrant in Damascus, but that's a bullshit statement because if your blocks are trash, you will lose in this game. Lickety split. Especially in the old games where the knockdown game is even more potent than this. So yeah, we don't... That'd be the one thing on this commentary I would tell you to completely avoid. Because I'll tell you right now, as a chip player, if your blocks are bad with that character, you're dead. If your blocks are bad with Millia, you're dead. If your blocks are bad with Biking, you're dead. Any character in this game, if your blocks are terrible, you'll die. So if you're not exercising good, defensive etiquette in any in any version of Guilty Gear, you're doing yourself a disservice. Just telling you that right now.
Yeah. You need to approach, man. You can't just be oh my goodness, did you see the FD attempt? Did you see it? He tried. Listen. Faultless command.
As someone that's played Guilty Gear for well over 10 years competitively, that statement is really, really bad. And I don't really think that that's a good way that people should be looking at GG.
Oh my goodness.
That's a poor outlook on it. Especially when they say that there are people who don't play the game like that. But I get it. They're trying to keep things entertaining.
Keeps it simple this time.
Okay, Alioune trying to get something popping here.
Look at this pressure.
Corner, but forced to block. That's a lot of blocking for KenDeep finally gets opening.
Yeah, unfortunate there. Did go for the moon. Unsafe on block. Okay, here we go. Oh, went for the roast. We haven't seen that all set from Alioune. It's actually a good movement tool for her.
Funny joke, but not accurate about the game.
Okay, here we go.
That's a fair thing to say. All right, here we go.
Oh my goodness. See how she can just deal with the neutral, like.
Yeah.
Eno's movement options really good.
Here we go, KenDeep.
Let's see. Oh, that one is whiffing. Stroke the big tree.
Reversal stroke the big tree.
Getting an extension. KenDeep looking for the comeback. He's got burst as well to get away from one. And you see Alioune did one hit into backdash to try and bait that burst.
Right.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah. There it is.
There's the gold burst, yep.
Opening goes to Alioune
well done.
and Alioune saves.
That was well done. Alioune's movement was good that round. It was a little scrambly, but it was good. Nevertheless.
Guys, here we are, game number 6 of the set.
Surprised I didn't get more knowledgeable commentators for Guilty Gear. I mean, it's okay. I forgive Red Bull this time because they put Guilty Gear in the event, so it's cool. All is forgiven.
Anything more right now? The movement from Alioune trying to just get away from Eno's range.
But at the end of the day, Damascus, that's all it is. It's just movement. You're not winning like that. You're just moving.
So see, now Alioune's finally playing to the character's strength, which is her mobility. Good air throw by KenDeep.
Oh, okay, burst. Yeah, Alioune will realize that could have been the end of the game right there. Set play scenario from Eno spells disaster. Here we go. Pressure now. Oh, Papalassi goes low. Oh, the burst from KenDeep did not want to let Alioune have any kind of offense there.
That's when you know that the offense is carried because even when Alioune has no life.
And then Eno's jumping kick has so much hit stun.
I'm surprised about that burst actually. Like he could have taken at least 1 or 2 more mixes.
I'm especially surprised because I had a long talk with KenDeep and he was like, "Don't choose burst for like dumb moments. Like get it for momentum and stuff."
Oh,
but
really?
I understand that. That's how scary the counter is.
Fair. Okay, here we go. Fireball out, and look at this, man. Alioune, he not only like, escapes, he turns his escape into a mix. Like, okay, there we go. Light disc. Okay.
Man, I swear.
Oh, the grab, and then we go. It could be a disc.
There's a lot of dynamic interactions happening here. And there's a lot of cause and effect. Right, because Alioune's putting on pressure in this fashion, KenDeep's response is to use, RC in another way.
First attempts didn't work out, and Alioune goes down. KenDeep is
what a movement bait, dude. This was so good, dude. Traditionally, who does this matchup favor? Yeah, it's pretty even.
Man, that was a really exciting one to watch.
I would say Millia might have a bit more of advantage because she has general mobility in the older games. Like, she has general mobility, so since she can run on the ground, it's a bit easier for her to actually run the plays. But if Eno gets started, it could be lights out because Eno's damage output's a lot higher in a general sense. Like, once Eno hits you, it's gonna hurt, no matter what character you play. But because Millia's a low HP character, it's gonna do even more damage on her, right? It's kind of 50-50, I would say, more or less. I mean, on one front, you could say 6'4", but 6'4" in Guilty Gear is not bad. It's like 7'3" in Guilty Gear is when it becomes bad. 6'4" just means, okay, there's some nuance. You know, or even like, it can even be seen as like a 6'4" or 5.5. It's somewhere in that range. I would say, like, in my experience in like watching the game and seeing how that matchup has been historically, it's more or less even, I would say. More or less. See, that's the thing too. How the meter system is utilized by each player also changes the dynamic. So in a general sense, like the player-to-player interactions on how you're using your meter plays a big role. And I was talking with Matt Jacket here on my stream about how he feels about Ino and having a goal burst is important for her because, in a sense, if she always has meter, you know, her metered options are available. So she can start taking more risks. She can start doing the fuzzies now, from we saw with KenDeep. You know, she has access to a lot of things that she doesn't have when she doesn't have meter. So when you think about it, when she has meter, just 50 bar lets her have a reversal super. She has a command grab. For what it's worth, she's got good combo opportunities, good pressure opportunities. Like, you know, she has escape opportunities with the blue, not blue RC, but with the yellow guard cancel RC, drift, you know, RC, blue RC drift, backdash blue RC drift, just blue RC in general. Like, when you start putting meter into play, like, things start to change. Like, maybe in a sense, like, a general sense, the matchup could be seen in Millia's favor. But when meter comes into play, the matchup dynamic shifts on both sides. And right now, I would say that fuzzy guard, at the moment, seems a little bit more strong than what Millia's offering at the moment in terms of mix-up. But from a general standpoint, Millia's general on-block mix from just making contact is scary. It's arguably scarier because she doesn't need meter. But Bad Moon requires meter. But if you scare them enough, it won't matter if you don't have the meter for the Bad Moon because they're going to be scared of the other options. And I showed you guys how the you know, everything branches from this 2-hit normal into all these other options that you have. So it's, when you think about it, it's a really dynamic matchup. It's not like a Street Fighter thing where it's like, okay, you just press this button and it just kind of shuts this matchup down. You know, it's a little bit more than that. And even then, that's a general statement. I'm not knocking Street Fighter, you know, but just know it's never going to be as cut as dry as just do this and like the matchup just kind of gets shut down, you know. So it's really cool. It's really, 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 really cool. So what I'm getting is, you know, recycle set play easier, but Millia's set play is scarier. Essentially. Like, both set plays are pretty scary. I would say what makes Millia's scarier is the fact that cross-up is in the mix. Like, Eno's just pure high-low, which can be fuzzy guarded, right? But Millia has the access to high-low and crossover low, right? She gets all of that. Eno just stays in front. And then Millia gets to go on either side. And throw also comes into play too. You know, instant overhead, you know. Man, she just has a plethora of options, I feel. And I think when everything is utilized correctly, you know, no matter how slow or how fast, it can be scary. What makes Eno scary is she has guaranteed low damage mix. Like, at the moment, it seems extremely guaranteed. So, during your Mad Jacket matches, you mentioned some nuance about fuzzy guarding. Yeah, I think transition guard from fuzzy guarding feels a bit slower. So in a sense, transition guard is basically fuzzy guarding, you know, where you go from high to low block. To defend against her is the fuzzy guard, right? Or I'll use transition guard just to make it easier. So it's fuzzy guard plus transition guarding. So let's start with fuzzy guard and how transition guard and fuzzy guard work together. So the fuzzy guard means you have to block either high or low to start out. So essentially, you're not gonna guess right 100%, right? The goal is to guess the first block and then go to the next block. So if you missed one, you can get the other, right? In a quick succession. So the issue I felt like with Strive is it felt like the transition guard from low to high and from high to low felt slower in regards to dealing with Eno's mix-up from note. So before, it wasn't nearly as hard. Like, it's not like your character just doing this. Like, you can't just hit the stick and just stand, crouch, stand, crouch. No, that's not how it goes. It's going to be a slower transition from the guard, which is why I say transition guard. which is the transitioning frames from standing to crouching and from crouching to standing. So the transition guard I felt was a little bit slower. So it made her mix-up feel a little bit more oppressive, and I could be wrong. It just kind of felt that way. Obviously, I can test it whenever the full release comes out or what have you. So we'll just have to take a look at that just to confirm, transition guard and how fast or how slow it is, On that goal burst bit, I think that's going to be a general strong mechanic considering how different a character and matchup plays with meter. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Meter interactions in this game are so much more, I won't say that they're 100% more dynamic, but for the way this game works, it makes matchups change completely. Because it turns these options into like even bigger extensions, And I think that's where the layer of depth comes into play with the game, is like how meters utilize blue RC, red, regular roaming cancel, PRC, yellow RC for the guard cancels and how you're utilizing it there. Like there's so many different ways that, these options come into play. And it's like, and just with meter alone, because if you go pound for pound with each kit, then the game becomes more static, right? Because if you go pound for pound, no one has bar, you can kind of see who's stronger and weaker, right? But then when you layer it on with the metered options, then the things that go pound for pound that may or may not lose, right, in certain scenarios, now become winning scenarios because you can bait the things that beat out your character to put yourself in a favorable position. You see what I'm saying? So it's essentially meter helps you take your weakness and turn them into strengths, essentially. And that's one way to look at it. That's not even the end all be all. That's one way to look at it. That's not even considering so we'll look at Chip, right? If one thing is a weakness for the character, if you think about it, he's so fast, he can utilize blue RC probably in a lot of more interesting and unique ways to slow down the opponent to get guaranteed punishes. Like, it's kind of crazy when you think about how the fastest character in the game has access to something that can slow you down. Like, you have to think about that. He's fast, and he presses 3 buttons for 50 bar, and he's like, slow down. What did you do? That's what you did. Party time. You know what I mean?